In a quiet corner of a small American town, there stood a barber shop. Its red and white pole spun endlessly, a simple symbol of community, stories, and trust. Inside worked a man named Henry Lewis, a barber, a friend, and, as the world would one day learn, a quiet philanthropist. Henry opened his shop in the 1970s. He didn't earn much. Most days, he charged just $10 for a haircut, sometimes less if the customer couldn't afford it. But Henry wasn't in it for the money. He was in it for people. He loved talking to the factory workers, teachers, and school kids who sat in his chair. He listened more than he spoke. He learned their dreams, their struggles, their fears. And one dream he heard often was this: "I wish I could afford college." Henry had never gone to college himself, but he understood the power of education. He knew how much it could change a life. So, one evening, after sweeping up the day's hair clippings, Henry made a quiet decision. He would start saving, not for himself, not for a bigger shop or a fancy car, but for the kids. Every week, he set aside a small part of his earnings, $5 here, $10 there, sometimes just the spare change from his tip jar. He opened a separate bank account. He didn't tell anyone, not even his family. It was his secret project, his mission. Over the years, his little savings account began to grow. He invested slowly, carefully, certificates of deposit, government bonds, low-risk mutual funds. Henry kept cutting hair. Every day, same schedule, same old scissors, same cracked mirror. He never raised his prices. He never complained. Customers often asked, "Henry, why don't you take a break? You've earned it." He'd just smile and say, "Oh, I'll rest when I'm done doing what I came here to do." No one understood what that meant. Not yet. Decades passed. His shop became a local landmark. People grew up, moved away, but they always came back to sit in Henry's chair just to talk. He knew every family by name, every graduation, every wedding, every struggle. Then, one winter morning, the barbershop lights didn't turn on. Henry had passed away peacefully in his sleep. He was 82. The whole town mourned. They came to his funeral in tears. Teachers, firefighters, waiters, even kids he once gave free haircuts to. Everyone thought they knew Henry, but a few weeks later, the bank called his lawyer, and the truth came out. Henry had quietly built up a fund worth $500,000, $500,000, all from his small-town barbershop, and in his will, he left every cent to create the Henry Lewis Scholarship Fund for students in his town who couldn't afford college. No one could believe it. The humble barber who never went to college himself was now sending others there. Local newspapers ran the story. National outlets picked it up. The barber who built a scholarship fund. The mayor renamed the street corner by his shop Henry's Way. The barber shop stayed open, run by one of his former customers. On the wall hung a framed quote that Henry once said, "You, Dan T., need to be rich to make a difference. You just need to care enough to start." Every year since, new students have graduated, funded by the man with the scissors and the kind heart. Some became teachers, some became engineers. One even became a doctor and came back to give free checkups at the shop's annual memorial event. Henry's legacy wasn't about money, it was about possibility. He proved that one small act, done consistently, could ripple across generations. Today, when people walk by that old shop, they don't just see a barber's pole spinning, they see a story, a legacy, a reminder that greatness doesn't always wear a suit. Sometimes, it wears a barber's apron. And somewhere, Henry would probably just smile and say, "It was never about haircuts. It was always about hope."